Hi, Sharyn Craig here with you today. I'm going to describe and talk to you about my cutting corners ruler. I know what you're thinking. I know you're thinking I don't need another ruler, but you don't have a ruler that does what this one does, nor does any of this ruler do what any of the other rulers do. It looks like it cuts triangles. That is not what it does. What it does is it cuts the corner off of a shape. So whether you're cutting the corner off of a block, like Ohio stars that you have, or whether you're cutting off of a square or a rectangle, it takes the corners off. And what I've done for you with the ruler is I've done all the math. So you don't have to know math at all. You just put the size down on the corner. For example, if I want to cut the corners off of this rectangle, let's say I want to take 2 inches corners off. I would put the 2 inches, the numbers for the 2 on those 2 corners there, and I would cut with my rotary cutter and eliminate that corner. The math that I've done on the ruler leaves the seam allowance on the remaining piece. So all you have to do is just cut away the corners and now you're good to go. If you don't, how big do I want to cut it? There's a book that comes with the ruler that has all the information for you. It talks about how you do that very thing. There's all sorts of interesting things in this book. Now there are 3 main purposes for the ruler. One of them is to cut odd shapes. This is an odd shape. It actually has a technical name, elongated hexagon. And now don't turn the page again, because I just lump all those odd shapes together and call them etceteras. But this shape appears in a lot of places. One of the most common is that you will see it used as a sashing. So here's that piece and how easy it is to cut this. It's very efficient and it's very low waste, because the pieces that you put back on to create these stars at the intersections don't use nearly as much fabric as if you were sewing squares back on. Another shape that we use, an octagon. So again, I would have cut a square, cut away the corners, sew replacement triangles back on. Here's another one, a trapezoid, another one of those etc. shapes. Go step by step how to do this in the booklet, just like I mentioned a few minutes ago. So whether you want to cut odd shapes or whether you want to create secondary designs, that's the second use for the ruler. Here's an example of a secondary design. I had some very large Ohio star blocks that were not very attractive. And by cutting away the corner and reattaching, instead of a plain triangle, now I put a piece triangle back on. In this case, it was half red and half beige. So when you sew your 4 blocks together, that's when you get that secondary design, the pinwheel that pops off the surface. Adds just a little interest and a little bit of color and a little bit of extra design to your quilts. So that's the second purpose of the ruler. A third thing, and probably one of the most fun, is to create stripped setting triangles. Again, if you look at the quilt on the wall behind me here, instead of one large plain piece of fabric, I stripped it. Now I didn't sew strips of white and red and black together and then cut those, because that would have been tremendously wasteful. Instead, I cut the exact pieces. This red piece is one of those trapezoid shapes again, but very little waste this time. And the same thing was true with the black. It was a trapezoid, and it tells you in the booklet exactly how to do it. The quilt that you're looking at it on the wall is a bonus pattern that comes in with the ruler. You get the ruler, you get this really cool packaging, and you get this booklet all included for the same low price. So if you're interested in the ruler, there's going to be more videos that you can check out in detail about the cutting odd shapes, about the secondary designs, and about the strip triangles. Check at your local quilt shops for the ruler, or go to cozyquilt.com and check on their website. I hope you've enjoyed this little quick teaser, and I hope you'll look into it more. Good visiting with you today. Happy quilting.